Hey guys, Stephen Cox here, and today we're going to be talking about syncopation. If you like videos like these, please hit subscribe below and consider becoming a patron where you can get the printable sheet music for this lesson and others. So first of all, what is syncopation? Well, syncopation is hiding the strong beats and accenting the weak beats to create some cool rhythms. So first we got to know what our strong beats and what our weak beats are. So if we're playing quarter notes, our strongest beats are going to be beat 1 and then beat 3. And then our weaker beats of those 4 will be beats 2 and beats 4. So if we count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, beat 1 is the strongest. Beat 3 is also strong. So a lot of times when we play country lines, we're playing half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're changing notes right on beats 1 and beats 3, but we're hiding beats 2 and 4. That's not considered syncopation because that's pretty standard. But if we were to do the opposite, where we just play beats 2 and 4 and not play beats 1 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it gives the song a totally different feel if we're playing with the drums still playing standard. That's an example of simple syncopation. Now let's go through some straightforward examples of syncopation that you'll see. So first of all, the most basic thing we can do is hide beat 1. So what I did here was I put a rest on beat 1, and that's a quarter rest, followed by 3 quarter notes. So this would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all we did to hide the note was just stop the sound for beat 1 and then play on beats 2, 3, and 4. Super straightforward, but let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so in this next exercise, we're just going to hide beat 3. So beat 1 will still happen, and then beat 3, we're going to hold the note out through it. So we've got a quarter note on beat 1, then we've got a half note on beat 2, which means we're starting that half note right when we play beat 2, and we're holding it out through beat 3. And then we have a quarter note that falls on beat 4 at the end of that measure. So this will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's play it together. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on this last exercise, we need a way to hide beat 1, but where we can hold a note out through it instead of just putting a rest on beat 1 every time. So we can't really do this with half notes, because if we have a half note at the end of the measure, we're not just going to add an extra beat before that bar line is there. So we have to have a way to connect the 4th note to the 1st note of the next measure. So we're going to introduce a tie. So do you see on beat 4 there's a quarter note, and then there's this little line, this little curved line that connects it to beat 1 of the next measure? That's called a tie. And what we do with that tie is we'll play beat 4 and then hold the note out through beat 1 of the next measure. So this exercise has a lot of syncopation going on. So in that first measure, we're hiding beat 3 with that half note. Then in the second measure, we're hiding beat 1 by holding beat 4 from the previous measure over. And then we're doing that same thing at the end of that measure going into the next measure. And so in measure 3, after we hide beat 1, we've got a half note on beat 2, which means we're hiding beat 3. And then we've got another quarter note on beat 4, this time tied to a half note, which means we won't play beat 1 or beat 2, and those last 2 quarter notes of the whole exercise will be on beats 3 and beats 4. So here's what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try it together a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives us the basics of playing quarter notes and half notes and using those for syncopation. Now that we understand the basics of syncopation, no pun intended, now it's time to apply this to eighth notes. So we're not going to go further than eighth notes in this lesson, but basically our quarter notes fall on the downbeats. That means when we have 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the numbers. So we know that beat 1 and beat 3 are the strongest of those numbers, but beats 2 and 4 are still stronger than the upbeats when we add eighth notes in. So eighth notes are where we add 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're adding ands in between the numbers, and that gives us our eighth notes. We can play all of them if we want to, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or we could add some syncopation to this by leaving out some of the numbers, right? Just playing the ands after the numbers. So let's do the most basic thing we can do with this concept, which is leave out the numbers and just play the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I put an eighth rest on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4, and on the ands we have an eighth note playing in between each one of those. Let's play exercise 4 together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the idea. So now we can do some different things with eighth notes. This next exercise, we're really not syncopating a lot because we're really only hiding beats 2 and beats 4, which, like we said before, hiding beats 1 and 3 is really more interesting, and this is more traditional. But I still consider it a basic form of syncopation where we're still hiding the stronger of the beats, meaning beats 2 and 4 are stronger than the ands. So on exercise 5, we have a dotted quarter note, which gets counted as a quarter note plus half of that value. You could think of it like a quarter note tied to an eighth note. So it gets 1.5 beats. So when you're counting those, you'd go 1 and 2, because 1 and is a full beat, 1 and collectively, and then that downbeat of 2 is half of the next beat, and then the and is where we'd play again after beat 2. I'm going to play through this so that you can hear the example. I know that's kind of a confusing explanation. So here's how exercise 5 sounds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's play that together now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So then in this final exercise, we're using ties to hide the downbeats, but let's still play beat 1. So we've got an eighth note on beat 1, then the eighth note on the and after beat 1 is tied to the eighth note on beat 2, which means we will play that and, but we won't play beat 2. The same thing happens on the and after beat 2. We play the and, but we don't play beat 3. Then again, we play the and, but we don't play beat 4. And at the very end of the measure, we have another and then we'll still play beat 1 when it comes back around. So this syncopation, we're hiding every beat except beat 1. You could simply hide beat 1 as well by tying the and of beat 4 to beat 1 of the next measure. So here's how this sounds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's do that together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, guys, that's it for the lesson. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about syncopation. If you'd like more videos like these, please subscribe below and become a patron so that you can get the printable sheet music that goes along with this lesson and many others. I'll see you guys on Thursday for the live stream and next Tuesday for another video like this.